What's up, young man? And possibly woman? Oh, shit. Okay. All right. So I'm not the greatest at these YouTube videos, and I'm not gonna do any editing to this video. I'm just gonna speak the truth to you, and if you are willing to accept it, then your life is gonna change after this video. If not, then go ahead and do what you want to do. But here's what I have for you. So I'm gonna start off by telling you my story and getting a baseline for how hard it was for me to free myself of this, so that you can understand that you can do this as well. So I'm gonna start off by saying where it all started from. So first time I ever watched a piece of pornography was when I was 4 years old. It was me and my cousin, and we snuck into my uncle's room, and we found his stash of porn, alcohol, and all that stuff, and we just started looking and just having a good time. That was my good time, and it means like we were just looking at this stuff, not doing anything weird. Okay, we're not that type of family. So yeah, so that was my first ever recollection of being introduced to that type of content, that type of information, and it wasn't until I was 9 years old that I started getting into the internet stuff. About 8, 9 years old, I would say. Yeah. And that's where I started getting hooked. That was like my first, like, super hard hooking moments was with my other cousin. I kind of walked in on him watching it, and I was like, what is that? He showed me what it was, and kind of left me to my own devices. And from that point on, it's pretty much every day for since 9 to 20, so 11 years of straight, you know, almost every day, multiple times a day sometimes. I think the most times I went in a day was probably like four. No, it was actually 5 times because I heard that at six you die. So I was trying to see if I could get there, and that was not a fun time. But you know, it just gives you this just gives you an idea of like what I was going through back then, and I kind of hated myself for it. I really hated myself when I was doing it. So that was one of the reasons why I wanted to quit. So first step is to recognize why you do it. For me, it was a coping mechanism. At the end of the day, watching that type of content is a coping mechanism. You want to feel a part of something. You want to feel like you're accomplishing something. You want to feel like you're being accepted because in those videos, they nobody gets rejected and those type of contents. I was a terrible guy. Like I even got into like the anime and the cartoons and like the what was it, like the manga s type things. Yeah, I've been down those rabbit holes, man, and I've come back to tell you how to stop and get yourself out as well. So first step is to recognize why you do it, right? And why you want to stop, really. For me, it was because I had changed my identity and I wanted to become a better person. I wanted to see what my potential was and how far I can get in life, what I can build for myself and my family. I also joined the military, as you can see right over there is the soldier's creed, and I started to live by that creed right there is literally who I wanted to become. I'm not saying join the military or do anything drastic like that, but creating a new identity for yourself or working towards something like a major goal, becoming someone that's important to the marketplace, to people in general, that's a very powerful reason as to why, you know, and why you do it is also a very important part, because knowing why, what you're looking to get out of that type of content, lets you know what you're missing in your life. So take some time to think about, why do you do it? All right. That's step number one. Step number two is to become aware of your cues. All right. What I mean by that is, be conscious of what you're thinking out throughout the day. Right. So what I did was, I started writing a note of every time I thought about sexual things, right? And oh my lord, it was terrible. I'm not gonna shame myself for it, because that's a coping mechanism, like I said. But in one day, I remember thinking maybe, I think, 30 or 50 thoughts of something sexual, B, A, something sexual, B, something about a woman, like, or getting triggered by something somebody said. Like, I was very sensitive to that type of stuff. Like, just seeing stuff on Instagram, seeing stuff on Reddit. I was a Reddit demon. Reddit, Twitter, all of that stuff. Like, just those things will influence you to do it. So recognizing what tells you, what leads you to the craving of doing it, of going to those websites and continuing to do it, is gonna help you become more aware of yourself and the habit itself. Because it's a habit. It's a coping mechanism, and it's a habit. And at some point in time, that habit help you survive. So don't shame yourself for it. It was just a way you decided that you felt like you felt like you can survive. Okay. So just be aware of that, and don't really be too hard on yourself about it. Just, if you really want to quit, start becoming aware of, what are you missing, what is causing you to do this. All right. Then once you become aware of all that, you want to change your response to the craving. Right. So you see something on the internet, or you see something in real life, like some girl in yoga pants. That was my thing, yoga pants. Or, whatever it is, you see it, because sex is everywhere. It's a form of marketing. They market sex because everybody wants sex. So you see that and you start craving it, right? And my response to that, when I was in that zone, in that habitual process, was to go to, like, the harems, the online harems, which is where I could find the content. Doesn't matter what it was. Hold on. I wasn't into all the extra stuff, that CP and all that, but you know, where I could find the things that excited me and I wanted to watch. And in order for me to stop doing it, to free myself from doing it, really, I had to change my response to the craving. And by doing that, I couldn't get the reward of, you know, I need to say anything else. But yeah, I couldn't get that reward, that dopamine spike, and I had to get it from something else. Right? So some examples of something you can do to change your response is, go for a walk. Just get out of the area that you were, get out of that environment. If you change your environment, you change yourself, you change your mentality and everything. That's one of the things I did. Another thing that I did was, I would start thinking about something else, like thinking about movie trilogies, thinking about different colors, or just a random topic. Try to make a top 10 list of whatever, top 10 cars, top 10 colors, top 10 um, candy bars, or something like that, right? just to like have your brain go to something else instead of continuing to go down that water slide. Okay. Um, Another thing I did was the 5 4 3 2 1 method, which is like 5 things you see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can smell, 2 things you can see, 1 thing you can taste, type of thing. Just becoming aware of your body. You want to get grounded. I would recommend that you find some grounding techniques, either breathing, just being aware, like just a wide looking at your surroundings, like stuff like that will help you get out of that that pipeline, which is what you're used to. Because that pipeline from cue to reward is very strong right now, and it's gonna be hard to break out of. So give yourself some grace. For me, it was 11 years in the making. It's 11 years of continually doing the same thing to the same response, like the same cue, having the same response to the same cue. So it became it was hard. It was part of who I was at that point. So that leads me on to the fourth thing you can do, which I talked about earlier, which was changing your identity, right? Stop identifying as somebody who does that. Stop identifying as a gooner. Identify as somebody else. Identify as who you want to be, right? For me, at that time, when I first started wanting to quit, it was I wanted to become a multimillionaire. I still do want to become a multimillionaire. And when I act in accordance to the things that a multimillionaire does, that habit just doesn't align with that. You see what I'm saying? And when I have the soldier, like being a soldier, that also the habit didn't align with being a soldier. It's in the it's in the creed. I am physically and mentally tough. You know, I'm disciplined. All of that stuff plays into who I am, and I said this creed hundreds of times, and when I began to say it consciously and internalize it, that helped me change who I was and help me free myself from it. All right. Um, you could make a personal creed for yourself, you know, or look up a creed that you like. Doesn't have to be a soldier's creed, but something you can tell yourself that says, "This is who I am, and this is what I do," type of thing. Make a new identity for yourself. And some resources that you can use. I'm going to conclude this right now with the resources you can use. I recommend that you use this book right here. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. This one is going to help, really going to change your life. If you can't afford the physical copy, I recommend this website called Anna's Archive. You can download any book to your phone. It's super dope. And you can also you can listen to it on Spotify if you're more of a listener than a reader. I know it's hard because for me it's still hard to read sometimes because I'm so used to having so much dopamine from 11 years of doing of that habit that sitting down and doing stuff like this is a lot harder than the average person, but that's not an excuse for me to stop growing, right? So that's something. Atomic Habits by James Clear. Another one you can use is the Easy Peasy Method. I'm going to link that one in the description for you. That book basically helps you become sober, to say the least. You have to become sober. That's the best way I can describe it because the book tells you not to stop while you're doing it. And I recommend that you don't stop as you're freeing yourself from this habit. Just as you're doing the habit, become more conscious of what you're doing. And once you become conscious of what you're doing, it will be like a no-brainer for you. That's what happened with me. Like there was one day where I actually listened to a voice in my head that was telling me to stop. And I just like I was watching it. I was watching some, the regular scheduled activities. I was watching it and I became sober. Like When I say sober, I mean I was watching the video and all the things that would make me aroused and excited didn't make me as excited anymore because I'm like, why am I even watching this? This is not what I want. This is not what I'm made for, like, and from that point on, from that day, I still get cravings. I still get cues because those don't really just go away like that. But my response to the craving and the cues is different because I have a different reward system. My brain is not thinking of that as a reward anymore. It's thinking of it as a hindrance. So that's just my 2 cents on it. You can take it or leave it. But if you honestly want to free yourself from this habit, then do as I say. Yeah. If you found value from this video, drop a like, share with a friend that you may know is a gooner as well. A lot of this a lot of this habit is enshrouded and just engulfed by shame. So by letting go of the shame and being like and really seeing yourself as just somebody who has a bad habit, then or a bad coping mechanism, then you can free yourself. That was one of the things that helped me free myself from this habit. So like, share, and good luck on your journey. You can do it because I did it, and remember why you started. But that's it for me. Leave a comment and tell me about your life and why you want to stop. If you're not ashamed, if you're not pussy. um, and yeah, you can do this. Life is gonna change for you in 2026. Peace. Or whatever time you see this, because it's probably gonna be in the internet forever. But peace.